Welcome one, welcome all. It is Dad's Watching Sports, and it is the Valentine's Day episode. Episode 52, that's right, Kyle. We should,
I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. It is episode 52 of Dad's Watching Sports. We are going a little early tonight. Normally go at 8:30 Central Time, but we're going a little early because it's Valentine's Day. We want to get the show done, get it out, and then get back to our lives and our wives.
Wait. Get the show done, get it out, and then, you know what? I know why you wanted to go early. I got you now.
Exactly. I got to go clean up after dinner. That's exactly.
Oh, is that what it is?
Got to get done early. Yep, absolutely. He is Kyle Castles. I am Michael Draper, and thank you for joining us on Dad's Watching Sports. If you're checking us out live, either on our Facebook page or the Off the Ball Network Facebook page, thank you so much. Go ahead and shoot us a comment. Let us know you're here. If you got questions, if you think our comments are trash and our takes are trash, jump in. We'll disagree with you. Anything you want to talk about, we'll be happy to bring it up throughout the show. If you're checking us out on the podcast, you can always contact us as well. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We've got an email address. All that information is at the bottom of the screen. You can check us out there. And if you are listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, something like that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds to do that. And hit us a 5-star review and give us a nice little rating as well. We would greatly appreciate it. Again, it is Valentine's Day, Sunday, February 14th, 2021. Kyle, this time last year, we were talking some Valentine's talk on the show, and we went with the topic of it was the teams that we love that broke our heart. You and I, Mississippi State and Kentucky fans collectively, we've got a lot of heartbreak over the course of our lives and with those teams, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, whatever. And it was you always have to kind of talk about that kind of stuff during the Valentine's Day time. So a couple of topics that I came up with sports related to Valentine's for this year, 2 of them. First, we're going to start off with what is one moment. Actually, I'll give you this question first so you can be kind of thinking about it, but we'll go together first. So the first question is, what is one moment that made you fall in love with sports? So be thinking about that. I'll get to my answer in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, teams that we love to hate, teams or individuals, Kyle, that we love to hate. These are guys or teams that, man, I just don't like them, and I love to hate them. Who you got? Who are those teams or guys that individuals that you just can't stand and love to hate?
So I got 3, and I'm going to go number 3 to number 1. I don't know if you did it like that, but
I didn't. But that's cool. You do whatever you need to do.
At number 3, I hate him, but I have all the respect for him, and that is, as much as it pains me to say it,
E12.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say it, the GOAT. Yeah, Tom Brady.
I texted you 2 days ago, and he's already tweeting out that he's getting back to work.
Yeah,
number 8. I mean, literally 4 days after winning the Super Bowl, 3 days after stumbling off of a boat and the boat parade and tossing the
trophy from one boat to another.
That's just, I mean, the fact that guy did that, man, is just.
And what I responded back with, there's no reason to think he's not going to get number 8 next year.
Exactly. Oh, of course not. Okay, so, Brady.
Number 2 is a group of teams. Everybody knows I'm a New Orleans Saints fan.
Okay.
And there was a time we were in the NFC West with the Buccaneers. Maybe it wasn't the Bucs. I forget who. The Rams and the Niners. So they're in the list, but also the Bucs, the Falcons, and the Panthers, because they're on the NFC South with the Saints as well.
Yep.
So that is my group to hate there. And then the team, and it's a group of teams, and they all come from one place. They're all from that school up north.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about. I hate Ole Miss.
Well, they're also on my list as somebody who also grew up in Mississippi with you. And the thing about me and growing up in Mississippi is my dad was a Kentucky fan, so I'm a Kentucky fan. So I didn't have the lineage of either State or Ole Miss. So I really got to pick and choose. I had full reign to pick and choose who I wanted to go for in that rivalry. And it took me all of about 5 minutes once I really got to know the fan bases and what each team represents to pick Mississippi State. So I'm right there with you. Ole Miss, Tennessee, those dirty, rotten Vols. Can't stand them. I'm a Kentucky fan, obviously, so Louisville is at the top of the list, / Rick Pitino. I love the guy from, 89 to 96, but can't stand him afterwards, and he's kind of shot himself in the foot a couple of times. Got to think the Dukies. And then I've got two professional athletes that may be a little bit surprising to you. Number one, and this I will preface this by saying, all due respect, and I think people are okay with people saying, "Man, I just couldn't stand this guy," because he was such an elite athlete and he was one of the best at his craft. And growing up for the longest time being a Boston Celtics fan, I could not stand Kobe Bryant. And I respect the heck out of him, and God rest his soul, but just could not stand Kobe.
You couldn't stand losing.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So, Kyle, we've got a couple of comments that have come through here in our talk about Ole Miss.
I got a feeling I know who it is.
Someone that you may not know, Caitlin Castles Delaney says, "Bye to both of you. You're just mad you lost the Egg Bowl basketball and soon to be the Governor's Cup, Hottie Toddy and Rocky Top." Oh, that's
so. First off, little sister.
Yes.
You grew up a Mississippi State fan.
Yeah.
And you traded. You are a traitor.
Yep.
You cannot be trusted. And so your comments are irrelevant.
Agreed. Yeah. Anybody that has toted the line on a rivalry.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
If you showed up tomorrow with a red L on a black sweatshirt, me and you would have a long talk about how we can't be friends anymore.
Something's very, very wrong. Okay, so my second person that I love to hate, and I really don't know why. I think it has to I think the whole deal has to do with Brett Favre, because I was a big Brett Favre fan, and that's Aaron Rodgers. I'm just not a Rodgers guy. I think he's great, kind of like with with Kobe, but I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan at all. He's somebody I love to hate. All right, Kyle. So the moment that made me fall in love with sports, I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like, all right, there's a lot of them, but trying to think back, okay, what is the one moment that I can really distinctly look back to and say, okay, man, I remember after this moment, I was like locked in. And obviously, you know what this is going to be about in terms of which team. It may be a little bit surprising to you in terms of what this game was. So we all know Kentucky lost in 92 to Leitner and Duke. He hits the shot. They lose. Duke goes on the Final Four, wins the national championship. The next year, 93, Kentucky makes the Final Four. They lose to Michigan, who then loses to North Carolina because Chris Webber thought he had a timeout, and he didn't. The following year, 93, 94, Kentucky did not think they were going to have a whole lot coming back, did not think they were going to be one of the best teams in the country, and they're playing Arizona out in Maui. It's the Maui Invitational Final. Again, this is a year that we've had nothing but heartbreak really the 2 years leading up to this. And with UK was down 1 point with 5 seconds left. And I believe it was Roderick Rhodes heaves like a 25 to 30 footer, misses, but it's tipped in by Jeff Brasso with no time left on the clock. And Kentucky went on obviously to win that game. And I just remember that is the moment where I was like, yes. Not only is this awesome, but my team finally won one of these games, and I am locked in. What about you? What's the moment that made you fall in love with sport or sports?
So here's the thing. It's not a single moment for me.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
It's a multitude of things. So my first –
Multitude? Where are we in? Lamentations?
No, I'm reading from Numbers 21, Mike.
Oh, okay. There we go. Absolutely.
Anyway,
a lot of begodding. 21? I don't know, but if there is, there's a lot of begodding in it.
My first, I think, 2 or 3 years that I was alive, and I don't remember sitting down and watching the games, but my mom was in school doing night classes for college, and so Monday nights in the fall, it was root beer and popcorn and Monday Night Football with my dad.
Nice.
And what I remember, and I don't know if I'm remembering it or because I've seen videos of it, I can remember the videos, but I remember running at him on his knees in the floor and me running at him yelling tackle and him tackling me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so you paired that with, I started going to Mississippi State football games at 2 years old. so you see it all centers around football, and that's when I fell in love with that game, and it morphs into everything else. I grew up playing baseball, grew up playing football. Played a little church league basketball. I don't know if you were there, Mike.
Yes, you did. Yes, not too long because you only got 5 fouls, so you weren't able your stint of time and one get in the game was not.
Look, I'm fat. I don't want to run up and down the court the whole game. So if I get 5 fouls in the first 2 minutes, I can go sit down and drink water.
You were the bruiser, man. We put Kyle in when they had a guy that was making a couple of shots, and we said, "All right, Kyle, use that football skill and give him a good forearm shiver as he's coming through the lane." Absolutely.
Although I got to tell the story because the hardest foul in church league basketball wasn't me. I don't know if you remember this, but I'm going to start dropping names that nobody's going to know but you.
No, but that's
Do you remember Howie?
Oh, yeah.
Was he living with McKinley, mate? Like, I don't remember.
Yeah. And
he had a breakaway. I think it was Vance that came in, like, forearmed him in the back. Yeah, that is remember that. Nobody watching this cares about that story, but that's between us.
That is absolutely hilarious. I do remember that the old shove in the back on the way to the goal. Glenn was probably not very happy about it.
He probably wasn't.
But anyways, we digress about church league basketball. That's a whole other topic for maybe this. And I apologize to people listening out there. We're going off on something that nobody else even knows about. But maybe next week, we'll have our good friend Thomas with us and our good friend Will next Sunday. Maybe we break out some more church league basketball stories.
We got some stories. Not even church league basketball. We can talk about, I'm going to start dropping some terms. We can talk about knighting. Yeah. We can talk about the chair that John David needs.
That's right. And graduation. And for some of those, we will have to check the explicit network on the podcast feed. So children or parents, hide your children for that show. All right, Kyle. A couple more things before we go to break. Valentine's Day, we mentioned it today. It was today. A good day for us in the Draper household. We got out, went to church. We'll talk about the winter apocalypse here in a minute, but there's definitely some ice on the roads here. Things were a little shaky. There were some people off in ditches, but we made it, got there, had a good service, made it home just fine. Gave the kids a Thomas the Train set today. They're big into Thomas the Train, so they got that today. They've enjoyed wearing that. The wife you and I talked about this a couple times this past week, some nice little diamond earrings. And we had a good night, man. We did our kind of Valentine's Day tradition is we do fondue. So we do like the cheese with bread and apples and vegetables, and then we do like some meats, and then we kind of culminate with our bananas Foster fondue, and it was delicious. Very good. How was your Valentine's?
Sounds good. So that was tonight. You didn't do that last night.
Nope, tonight.
Gotcha. So we actually celebrated last night because we like to go out, and so we went to a spot called Del Frisco's down in downtown Nashville.
Very nice. Very nice.
Had a nice filet, medium rare, cooked perfect. It was interesting. So they had a cheesesteak egg roll for an appetizer with all like the sweet like Asian sauces. It was different, but it was really good. We both got the filet. She got it with a crab stuffed lobster tail.
Nice.
I got it with a blue cheese butter, which I'm going to start making on my own anytime I grill a steak at the house because it was good.
Yeah.
And then shareable sides, and we got these almost like candied roasted bacon Brussels sprouts. I don't know. Oh, man, they were good.
Unbelievable.
And some mashed potatoes. And I promise you, the mashed potatoes were the worst thing we got there. And we both still gave them an 8.
Yeah. That place is good. That place
really
is good.
We left there, and I don't know if you've heard of this, but we went to JJ's Wine Bar down on close to the square.
Okay.
Close to the square in Franklin, and Franklin's between mine and Mike's house. So those of you that don't know your southern Nashville geography, there you go. And they had a little fondue,
nice,
like dessert, and so bananas and strawberries and marshmallows and angel food cake, and it was good. And and then she had a couple more glasses of wine on top of what she had at dinner. I had coffee. I told them decaf, but then I couldn't get to sleep last night, so I'm pretty sure they gave me caffeinated coffee. We had a good time.
Nice.
Got home. Nice. I gave her gifts. I gave her a Lily Pulitzer dress, a necklace from Tiffany, and Godiva chocolate because she mentioned a few times she wants a really good chocolate.
Yeah, Kyle going to Tiffany's and to get a dress, making the rest of us look bad. Thank you for that.
Look, I will tell you what I told the girls at Lily that were helping me. I was like, look, I suck all year round, so like Valentine's Day and her birthday and Christmas, like that's my time to catch up with all of the bad stuff. But then we got up this morning. Church was canceled because of all the ice. We gave the boys this big Lego. Like Lego is all they care about. We watch Lego Movie or Lego Movie 2 every day.
Yeah,
it feels like they love them, and so we've been putting together Lego sets today. Hannah got a stuffed unicorn. They got some candy, but it was good. It was a good day.
Nice. All right, so let me ask you this, Kyle. So yesterday, and when I start this story, you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay." Now, yesterday, my wife got some pajamas in the mail. Yeah, I know you say that, and you're everybody's like, okay.
I'm waiting on the rest of the story. At this
ears
point.
Are perked up.
Yeah.
No, it's not that at all, but. Just kind of regular stuff. And so, we were sitting there talking about them. She was like, I don't know if I like them or not, whatever have you. And so I go, and these are like sets, so like matching sets, a shirt and a bottom or whatever. And I'm thinking, I'm like, do guys do that kind of, like, do guys our age wear like matching, like choreographed pajamas, like a matching shirt and pants or matching shirt and shorts? My go-to is usually, I honestly wear this hoodie a lot and shorts.
Wait, you sleep in a hoodie?
It's like a performance hoodie. It's really thin. It actually is.
This coming from the guy that used to have 3 box fans and a ceiling fan in your room and would set the air on 60?
Exactly, but it's still cold in the room. But I like to, have the nice hoodie on. But yeah, so I'm usually in the colder months hoodie and shorts, and then obviously like a t-shirt and shorts. But again, it kind of goes back to thinking like do guys our age, do we eventually graduate out of the Nike shorts and a t-shirt and go to like the, the button down with the collar, matching pants? When do we transition to that?
So if we do, I have not yet.
Okay.
Usually for me, it's a pair of Nike shorts and that's it. Last night,
it goes topless. I like it.
I don't know. So I will wear pajama pants. I wear pajama pants every Christmas Eve because we have matching.
Yeah.
Pajama session this morning, so I'll at least wear the sleep in a shirt. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Well, it just got me thinking, man. So if you're out there, if you're dad out there and you are, you rock the, the matching set, maybe a long sleeve shirt, some long pants. If you do any of that, let us know. What is the appropriate age? Because I feel as if I could be talked into it. I could be talked into going down that path to the every night with like the long silky shirt or the. I think I could do it.
You gonna have a sleep cap as well?
I might have a sleep cap. I mean, I am bald to keep my bald head warm. So husband picked a career specifically for the pajama attire that he'll wear daily. Well, if you work from home like I do.
We're doctors. Look at us.
Yeah. Hey, if you work from home, you can wear your pajamas every day too. You don't even have to have that fancy degree. All right, one more topic, and then we're going to break. Kyle, we mentioned it a couple of times already. The winter apocalypse is upon us.
Yeah.
People are talking about 6 to 8 to 10 inches of snow. For those of you that are not in Tennessee and have never been here, when it snows or it rains hard, it's unheard of, but people lose their mind and they don't know how to drive. Schools are out. People are canceling everything. Will we survive the next 2 days, I guess is my question, Kyle.
We've been living in a pandemic for almost a year. If we can get through a COVID pandemic or a year of a COVID pandemic, we can get through 2 days of snow and ice on the road.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I think we'll make it. So all of you that bought milk and bread and water and batteries and all the above, I think it's always good to be prepared. But I think Lord willing, we'll make it. So
I don't see massive power outages and people going like, it's 4 degrees outside and we have no heat. I don't see that.
Yeah. Let's hope not. All right, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, Gal, we've got what I think is one of the best calls of all time, and we'll get to that in just a second, but we'll be right back on Dad's Watching Sports. Y'all stick with us. Big news in the Dad's Watching Sports podcasting world. You've heard us mention it on the show already. We are now part of the Off the Ball Podcast Network. We're super excited to be joining the team of great shows, hopefully adding a little dad flavor to the mix. You can check out Off the Ball Podcast and Off the Ball Network on all your social media sites. Just search Off the Ball Network. And while you're there, give them a like and a follow. You won't regret it. Welcome back to Dad's Watching Sports. Michael Draper, Kyle Castles, Valentine's Day 2021. Kyle, before we get into our next topic, really quickly, one thing I forgot to discuss last segment that I wanted to get hit on. We are I wouldn't say rapidly, but we're getting close to that age with our kids where somebody's going to come home at some point in time and say, "Mommy and Daddy, I've got a Valentine." I think we both probably differ in our response to what that will be when our sons come home with that and our daughter comes home with that conversation. I was thinking about this, and this is going to surprise you actually a little bit, I think. I was thinking about that earlier today as well. And this might surprise a lot of people out there. I think I'm going to be a little bit more nervous when Hayden comes home as I'm going to be with Emma. And let me say the reason why. Emma is she's challenging like any 4-year-old. But at the end of the day, man, she's a rule follower, and she is not afraid to call people out that aren't following the rules. She is very organized. Like, she's just the type of kid that I think just kind of gets good behavior.
So she's more like her mama.
And yeah, I mean, come on. And I don't feel like we're going to have to worry about her. Like, I feel like the trust is going to be there with her to make a good decision about who the people she is, the dates. It's our son I'm worried about.
He's like his daddy.
Because he is like his dad, without a doubt. So any quick thoughts from you on kids coming home saying, "Mommy, Daddy, I've got a Valentine"?
Yeah. The boys are going to know to show up wherever they show up with that Valentine with the proper respect for all involved.
Really? Yep.
They will be taught that. The boy that shows up for Hannah better come correct. That's all I'm going to say.
There we go. Daddy's got a gun. There's no doubt about it. All right, Kyle. So this is a very poor transition, but we talked all about the Super Bowl.
Wait, we're going to talk about our kids having Valentines and now go to streaking?
Exactly. Because what
put
is
this show together? This doesn't even make sense. There's no flow.
There's absolutely flow because every time kids streak all the time, and we'll get to that in a second too. So we talked about the Super Bowl last week. We hit on, the highlights, the lowlights, everything about it. The one thing we did not talk about was the streaker. I believe it was the second half. A guy coming streaking across the field. We'll get into that in just a second. But it gave us, quite possibly, I believe it was on Westwood One, CBS Radio, quite possibly, Kyle, the greatest call in sports history.
And the call that I was told to avoid.
Someone's run on the field. Some guy with a brawl. And now he's not being chased. He's running down the middle of the 40. Arms in the air in a victory salute. He's pulling down his pants. Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants. He's being chased to the 30. He breaks a tackle from a security guard. The 20, down the middle, the 10, the 5. He slides at the 1, and they converge on him at the goal line. Pull up your pants. Take off the bra and be a man.
I'm not even on. Sorry, I muted myself and I wasn't even back. Kevin Harlan with what could be the call of the century. Hilarious, man. Just absolutely hilarious. Props to him for just rolling with it. and going straight into that. And he's one of the best there is out there, anyways. I think when I think of Harlan, I think it was back in like 04, 05. LeBron, first year, the Cavs go to the finals. I think they're playing the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, and LeBron gets that dunk down the middle of the lane. And he goes, LeBron James with no regard for human life. It's just amazing. But anyway, so Kevin Harlan with that unbelievable call. Can you top that?
I don't know, like off the top of my head. So you told me not to watch it or listen to the call until, like, I had seen the video. I knew but not to listen to the call until right now. So off the top of my head, I cannot think of a call better. At least not as funny. I can think of some times where there's some emotion that I felt like was called, was done very tastefully. Mm-hmm. But as far as humor, I don't know. There's much better.
No. The only one that I can even think of, just off the top of my head, that maybe ranks in terms of like all-time great calls. You think of "Do You Believe in Miracles" by Al Michaels, 1980 USA hockey team. But I mean, my God, man, Kevin Harlan just absolutely bringing the heat for that. So let's get into the streaker. There has been talks, Kyle, that this individual basically bet on himself. So made a bet that there would be a streaker for the Super Bowl, and then he became that streaker and ended up winning like $300,000 for doing it. So my question to you, Kyle, is for $300,000, are you streaking? If not, what is the price tag that would cause you to go bear and streak in a public place like that?
So I got a few things I want to talk about here. We keep calling him a streaker. He had on a pink thong swimsuit.
True.
Thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
Would I truly streak for $300,000? Brother, I do it for $50,000. I don't need the whole $300,000. I will get bare booty naked. You hear me? That's that Southern naked.
Naked, that's right.
For $50K. Easy.
Oh, man. Your poor kids.
Poor kids. My sister's watching this. My wife just texted me and was like, hey, I'm up here watching it with Wrigley. So, but I hope you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yep. But he just naked. Exactly. That's exactly what just happened. And now what's going to happen tomorrow, Kyle, is your son's going to go streaking through the house, and he's going to be like, well, he said, Dad, you said you do it for $50K. I'm doing it for, a cheese. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, yep. And your wife chimes in, parental advice. That's our legal representation. We've got to be careful.
I love her. I don't know if you know that, but I love her.
I figured you did. She puts up with you. She hopefully she loves you too. So, all right, Kyle. So I was thinking about this. I don't know that I would do it for $300K. Like and I'm talking about like full on and out in a public place, because you got to think about repercussions. But I think if somebody said, I'll give you $1 million and that your kids are not going to know about this until they're grown, I would definitely do it. Other than that, I don't know that I could do it.
You worry too much. Give me $50,000. I'll get naked and run across the football field.
All right. So what's going to happen when the next topic was your kids and streaking? What's going to happen? It's bound to happen at some point in time, a public place. We'll just say one of your sons takes off streaking. What's the dad advice to young Jack about streaking naked in a public place?
So none of them have actually streaked, but my boys, because they're boys, like to just drop trowel and pee wherever. I just think it's funny, and I let it happen. I mean, it is what it is, man.
That's right. It is. Without a doubt. There's not a single guy watching this show or listening to this show that hasn't done the same thing. And if the wife's like, oh my gosh, well then ask your brother or your dad, and they did the same thing.
Yeah.
It happens. I told my wife that's how we need to teach our kid to go to use, like, get potty trained. Just let him go outside until he figures it out. Just come in and say, all right, do that same thing in the toilet.
Yep. Is he shrinking?
Ooh.
Hey, if it's cold enough, he's right.
I'm not even going to touch that comment. That's an internal house debate there that I'm not even going to get into when the word shrinking comes up. Okay, Kyle. So let's kind of shift gears a little bit. One thing that I wanted to talk about last week and we just didn't get to it was our good friends, the Bracketeers. You can check them out on Twitter at Bracketeers. They came up with a bracket for the best Super Bowl team of all time. I believe it had 16 teams. I'm going to pull up the Twitter machine right now. I believe it had 16 teams. And when you go back and look through it, I'm almost positive that their champion ended up being, I believe it was the 1978 Pittsburgh Steelers team ended up being their champion. But, I thought, hey, we just finished the Super Bowl. This is a good topic. We like to talk football. So if we're looking at the best Super Bowl teams of all times, let's pick our final four, our title matchup, and then our champion. I will go first. I've got a little, I wouldn't say total recency bias here, but there's three within my lifetime, two within your lifetime. I think my number one overall seed, and people are going to probably say you're crazy for this, but there's only been one team in NFL history that's gone undefeated. And you can say, oh, well, they're still not the best champion. Well, they went undefeated. And so I don't care really what any argument anybody says. They went undefeated, and that's the 72 Dolphins. So I've got them as my number one seed in the Final Four. My other thrhree teams, I don't really have them in any particular order. I've got the 85 Bears. I've got the 96 Packers. And then I've got the 94 49ers. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, no, the 80s Niners are better.
Was the 94 Niners the Charger Super Bowl?
Chargers, yes.
55
Steve Young. Yeah, Steve Young, Ricky Running Waters, named Black.
Rice. I think J.J. Stokes was the receiver opposite. Does that sound right?
Yes, that does. So yeah, those are my top four, and I believe my smoke detector just started chirping, so that's going to be fun to finish the show. But yeah, let's hear your top four.
So we got the same number one seeds, the 72. I mean, they went undefeated. Say what you want about the style of play and how it's changed and whatever. And do I think the 72 Dolphins could actually come in and beat, the 02, I think it was the 02 Ravens that had that dominant defense? Probably not, because there's more speed on the field in 02 than there was in 72. Like, fine. But when you're talking about just the best Super Bowl teams, the best champions, you got to start with the undefeated team, and the only undefeated team we've had. I also have the 85 Bears. I have the 89 49ers. To use so it's saying different team. I got the Montana instead of the Steve Young led Niners, but some players are the same. Jerry Rice being the one. I have the 93 Cowboys, and so that was the triplets kind of at their peak with Aikman and Smith and Irvin. They had a pretty good defense. They had the best offensive line in football. So that's my final four.
Okay, go ahead and take that down to your championship and give me your champion, and I may sneak away here and try to get the battery out of this thing while it's chirping here.
All right, sounds good. I'm instead saying that this is who I think is the better champion, and the 72 Dolphins are undefeated. So give me the 72 Dolphins over the 93 Cowboys in that 1-4 matchup. The 2-3 matchup is the 85 Bears and the 89 Niners. And I think there's something special, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, about the 89 49ers. To me, that was the best Niners team of the dynasty. And I think that 80s to mid, early to mid 90s Niners teams, really even in the late 90s, Steve Young played, through 98, 99, somewhere in there. That was probably the best dynasty we've seen, just churning out quality teams. And so I got the 89 Niners outscoring, the Bears. Yes, I said outscoring, because I don't think that the Bears could stop that 89 Niners team enough. And I don't think the Bears offense was good enough to keep up with them. So that gives me the 72 Dolphins and the 89 49ers in the title matchup. And I'm telling you, they're cool, Joe Cool and Jerry Rice. I can't pick against that 89 49ers team. I think they are possibly, I know they're not undefeated, but possibly the best team we've seen in the NFL ever.
All right. Well, I disagree with you.
You should.
And I do. So obviously, because I didn't even have the 89 Niners in my Final Four, I do have the 94 Niners going on to the title game where they'll take on the 72 Dolphins. Again, I think you've got that offense, that explosive offense. I still got this thing chirping in the background of the 49ers. But, I mean, again, man, they're undefeated. And I don't care. People can say, oh, well, you know, the athletes in 72 weren't as good as 89 or 94 or 85. I don't care. They beat every team that was in front of them, and they're the Dolphins, and they were coached by Don Shula, and they had Larry Zonka. So I am going the overall champ is the undefeated, the best team ever, the 1972 Dolphins, who will crack open even another bottle of Cristal champagne in celebratory fashion.
Look, I'm not arguing with you. I just wanted to give an answer that you could argue with because I think it makes the show better. So
that's fair. No, does it? What are you talking about? Okay. TJ joins us. TJ Burns says, howdy, boys. TJ, it is good to see you and hope you're doing well. Good, sir. Let's see where we at here. Okay, Kyle. So, you know, the Bracketeers did their bracket, best Super Bowl team of all time. Got me thinking, what is our next bracket? And we've kind of tossed some of these ideas out. I put up a Twitter poll between, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to give your take on this as well if you have a different bracket. But I said we're launching the latest bracket soon. What should our topic be? With 68 votes reporting, we still got a couple of days left in this poll, Kyle. But with 68 votes in, we had the greatest coach of all time across any sport with 52% of the vote, which is a little surprising. 27% of the vote goes to dad-son / dad-daughter duos, and then 16% of the vote, best dad in sports. We did have 2% of the vote going to other, and it looks like best light action comedy was the vote for that. So you look at those topics or one of your own. We're going to get this going here in the next few weeks. Brackets, what's your thought?
I like all three of them. I don't know if I was supposed to do this, but you put Kyle's edition on my rundown.
I did.
I thought it would be fun to look at most memorable play in sports history. I mean, you got Flutie's Hail Mary, the Immaculate Reception. I had some more in my head, but I didn't write them down. And now, as I'm talking about them, they all vanished. The Babe Ruth calling his shot. And I understand there's nobody alive that saw that Babe Ruth calling his shot, so maybe it's not memorable, but I don't know if memorable is the right word. Maybe it's more like most influential or whatever. I don't know. But I think that would be kind of a fun discussion to have is, what play is it that, I don't know the right adjective here, but I put most memorable. The Leitner shot that you love so much.
It's gross, man. That's a good topic. I'll add that in. I may do some. Well, you can't edit a tweet, but I'll figure out a way to add that in, and we'll see what everybody says. Because I definitely think we need to get in the bracket. Yes, TJ, I do need to change out the batteries, and it's literally the smoke detector is like literally right here. That's beeping in the background, and I'm hopeful. I just texted my wife and said, hey, can you bring the step ladder upstairs so I can change it at the commercial break? All right, Kyle, before we go to that break, let's get in one last topic, kind of football related. This past week, we had the death of Marty Schottenheimer, this legendary coach, coached the Browns, the Redskins, the Chiefs, and the Chargers in the NFL. Had a couple of teams that were just kind of right there on the cusp of making the role. He was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was the coach of the Browns when John Elway had the drive. And so just kind of right there off the cusp. So a couple of questions to you. What do you feel like was maybe his best team that he coached, and is he a Hall of Fame worthy nominee as a coach?
Best team, I went with that 06 Charger team. They went 14-2. They were unstoppable. But Marty Schottenheimer could win in the regular season. You knew you were going to get to the playoffs I think I read something like he won 10 games or more in every year short of every year he coached other than maybe 3 or 4 years. Like it's an insane kind of record, but he was like 5-13 or 5-19 or whatever it was in the playoffs. And so like he just couldn't win in January. That quite frankly, I think that's what's kept him out of the Hall of Fame. But does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, he's the only eligible coach with more than 200 wins not in the Hall of Fame. And he's also top 10 in wins as a head coach in league history. So, you want to talk about show prep, there you go. I just dropped you 2 stats that really there's no reason he shouldn't be in there. I know why people aren't doing it because he didn't win in the playoffs, but there's got to be something for longevity and consistency, and he was consistent over that time period.
Yeah, there was, or yeah, he was, and yeah, it's really a shame that he hasn't been inducted yet. Hopefully, he will get to do that. TJ jumps in and says Hall of Fame all the way. I think we both agree with that. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. I actually, and I hate this because I hate when we agree so much, but I had the 06 Chargers as well. They ended up losing the divisional round to the Patriots that year, but
I think they were up 21-0 in that game or something.
Well, and they lost 2 games all season by a combined 6 points.
Yeah, I mean they lost that one by 3.
Right, and so they were 6 points away from being undefeated in that season. So, but yeah, rest in peace to Marty Schottenheimer. All right, Kyle, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, I'm going to try to fix this beeping really quickly. When we come back, we'll talk some other stuff here on Dad's Watching Sports. Y'all stay with us. Coming up next week on Dad's Watching Sports, well, if we survive the snow apocalypse, it's the guys' weekend as the dads and 2 longtime friends take off for a weekend at the lake house. We'll recap you on all the shenanigans. Plus, we'll be joined by Cole Kubelik of the SEC Network to talk about his way too early top 25, all the food he eats during the broadcast, and his epic Peloton workouts. That and more next week on episode 53 of Dad's Watching Sports. We'll see you then. And we are back here on Dad's Watching Sports. And Kyle, I feel like I'm pretty good at kind of the stuff around the house, fixing things, that kind of stuff.
So the smoke detector one.
The smoke detector, I kind of forgot that you don't just take the battery out and it stops. You have to put a new battery in. So climbed up on this stepladder right here. Battery is out. But as you can hear, we're still chirping, but we're going to keep moving along. And Mrs. Draper, God bless her soul, she's finding a battery for me. And there may be a point in time during the show, Kyle, where I'm just going to say, Kyle, run with it for about 30 seconds, and everybody will get to stare at me on this stepladder back here. But I tell you, man, if it's not technical difficulties, it's stinking smoke detectors or something going on.
I'll be honest, when you do that, I'll try and give a Kevin Harlan type call on what you're doing back there on the stepladder.
I think you, without a doubt, should do that. I think that would be fantastic content, without a doubt. All right, let's switch it up to the NBA just for a few minutes here, Kyle. NBA All-Star Weekend is coming up pretty soon, and there's been a lot of players that have kind of come out saying, hey, we aren't interested in doing this. We're not interested in having all the festivities and doing all this stuff. And, oh, my goodness, Mrs. Draper. Oh, she's not tall enough. I appreciate the effort, honey. But she's not quite tall enough, and we'll get to it in a second. That is awesome. The fact
that's fantastic.
Standing up in the background, that's
was she on the stepladder?
She was, and she was still like,
oh, wow.
I know that's so cute. So again, Kyle, NBA All-Star Weekend, the players are saying, man, we don't want to do all the hoopla and all the stuff. Why are we doing this? This is not good. Given everything that's going on, what's your take on that?
Look, we're in the middle of this pandemic, and there he goes. He's off. He's up the step ladder. Be a man. Fix the smoke detector. Okay, with one hand. He doesn't need 2 hands. He's got his hat on backwards. It's not 1996 anymore, my man. Put your hat on the right way. apparently it's hard to put the batteries in the smoke detector. You can't figure out which way they go. You got it? You good? He can't hear me yet. Hey, there he is. Yeah, he's muted. He doesn't have a clue that he's muted. This is fantastic. This is good podcast shows right here.
This is good content. Okay, a pro doesn't need two hands. Caitlin Castles don't need to get out of here. Okay, so I clearly put it.
She was actually taking up for you, so don't get mad at her. Get mad at me. I said, look at him with one hand up there.
There you go. So I put the battery in the wrong way. So
we could tell.
I'm gonna be back again, but I'm very interested in hearing your take in just a second.
And he's off again to fix the thing that apparently positive and negative doesn't make sense to Michael Draper. He's struggling with it again, going one hand. I think he needs to go with two hands. I think he's got to. He's balancing himself. You see that left hand on the wall. He's balancing himself, making sure he doesn't fall off the two-step ladder, because that would not be a fun fall. I mean, it's 2 steps, but whatever. He's old. I mean, he'll break a hip or something. I don't know. He's still struggling with it. Just watch him struggle with the battery. Like, be a man. Take off the bra and be a man. See, Mike's the type of guy that would slide at the one instead of lowering the shoulder and driving through the security guard and making sure that he gets into the end zone and scores.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about how you need to be a man and learn how to put.
Man, I know how to do it, but I can't see.
Put it back. Oh, you can't see. So again, everybody, I was correct. He's old.
No,
so he can't see.
I can't see because the step ladder is so short. I can't see up in there, so I didn't know which way it went. To see, I didn't look at the battery when I took it out to see if it was in. But I think
we all understand.
So far, so good. But if it beeps again, I'm not going to leave you. We'll just write it out. Did you even get to your thoughts on the?
No, we've just been making fun of you.
Okay, well that's cool. I can go with that.
I'm looking forward to you going back and watching that.
I can't wait to listen to that. Well, since you had such wonderful thoughts on it, I'm just going to forget that topic altogether, and we'll just move on.
You sure? I'll talk to you about the All-Star weekend.
All right, go ahead and give me your thoughts really quickly.
Do you care? Do you want to hear my thoughts?
I do.
I don't know if you even want to hear my thoughts.
I do. No,
I'm a little emotional all of a sudden.
I want to hear your thoughts, Kyle.
That makes me feel better.
Your thoughts.
We got a pandemic going on, man. Like, no reason to put these guys around each other any more than you have to. Just let them chill out and do like the NFL. Let NBA, 2K, help me out. Whatever the 2K22 or whatever we're on now, let it run it.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's kind of ridiculous as well. Anything that's kind of excessive, I don't know that we necessarily need to be doing that. Speaking of NBA, Kyle, there's a couple of teams that are on the top of the leaderboard, and there's a couple of teams on the outside looking in terms of playoff chase. Wanted to get your take. NBA championship contender or pretender? First, we're going with the team that's got the best record in the league, the Utah Jazz. Are they a contender or are they a pretender, Kyle?
They're a contender. I mean, you got the best record in the league, even over that LeBron James led or AD led, whoever you want to think is the real leader of that Lakers team. Like, there's something going on there, and I think we're deep enough into the season that we can just look at it and say you are what you are at this point.
Yeah.
Because we're 30 some odd games in the season. We're getting close to halfway through.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the Jazz are definitely a contender.
They're a contender. They were right there. They took the Nuggets to Game 7, and they were right there to go to the conference finals last year during the bubble. I think they were a contender without a doubt. Donovan Mitchell, I hate the fact that he played Louisville, but he is a baller. The Philadelphia 76ers sit on the top of the Eastern Division. Doc Rivers has got them playing pretty awesome. Contender or pretender?
Again, they're a contender. I mean, there's a ton of talent there in Philadelphia, and they need the right guy to put it together, and Doc's the right guy. Doc's been doing this for a long time. So, yeah, I mean, they're a contender, and if you tell me it's them and the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going to kind of go with, yeah, that's about right.
What about I'll give my take on it, I guess. I'll go contender as well. I mean, like you said, they've got all the pieces. They've got a coach who's been there, done that before, knows how to kind of push the buttons to get people to play to their strengths in Doc. And, I think they're a contender without a doubt. Let's go through these just kind of really quickly here. Just give me a pretender or a contender. Charlotte Hornets.
Pretender.
I'll go pretender as well. Miami Heat.
Contender because of coaching.
I'm going to say pretender this year. I think they got on a heater last year, and I think they just, people were worried about, are these teams going to wear down? I think they are a pretender for this year, and I think they will not make the playoffs. The Phoenix Suns.
Pretender?
I'm going to go contender. I think they've got the young pieces to be able to compete. Now, I say that. I think they will contend and be a playoff team. I don't think they're a championship contender, so I guess I should rephrase that a little bit. Okay. Last team, Steph and the Warriors.
I'm going with pretender. I know Steph's a good player, but I don't see the rest of the team being there.
I think they're a pretender this year. I think if they can finally get a healthy Clay back next year and add him to that roster, watch out.
That changes things. I totally agree.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. All right, a couple last little things here before we get out of here, Kyle. J.J. Watt asked for his release by the Texans. That whole organization is just in such disarray. What do you think about that, and where do you think he ends up?
So I think there's three places he could end up. His brothers both play in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
I think he may have to take a little less money to go there, but does he want to play with both his brothers and have all three Watts on one team? Maybe. The Packers are looking for some pass rush help, and I think they have the money that they could give him, the contract or close to the contract he would want.
Yep.
And he's, he wants to win a title. The Packers are right there. With a J.J. Watt, do they get enough pressure on Brady to slow that offense down and give Aaron Rodgers and his offense a shot? And
he went to Wisconsin. I don't know if I'm guessing he's from that area, but he went to Wisconsin.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Nice.
And then the team that you keep hearing about, if you read the articles, are the Bears. So I threw them in there. But could you imagine J.J. Watt and Khalil Mack on the same defense?
That would be a nightmare for all quarterbacks across the league. There's no doubt about that. I'm gonna
guarantee Drew Brees retires. He's like, I don't want to see that.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm gonna throw one more team in there for you, Kyle. If you remember back in like the early 2000s, the Lakers. It was after they had their first run, maybe even the second run, the title run. But then they started getting like Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Steve Nash, all these guys started going to the Lakers because they wanted to win a title.
Yeah.
Don't count out the Buccaneers.
I see your point. I knew where you were going as soon as you started that.
Because seeing what happened, seeing Brady still as good as ever, Gronk comes back after a year off. That defense is legit. The defensive line, Sue, he's got to be, probably 35, 36 years old.
He's that old. He's probably 32, 33.
Well, he's definitely in his decline of his career. You could throw J.J. Watt on that defensive line, and they'd be just as ridiculously dominant. So watch out for the defending champs in that race. That's all. I'm not saying.
The problem there is I don't know if they have the money. He'd have to take it.
Well, to win a title might be something he's willing to do. All right, last topic here. We'll skip the conference tournaments debates for this week. Last topic here, Kyle. So I saw this on Twitter, and I thought it'd be kind of a fun thing for us to bring up. And you see these things kind of from time to time. It says, okay, you've been kidnapped, and you get to send one sports-related tweet or Facebook message or text message or something that would alarm all of your people that you're in trouble. So this is something that you're normally not going to be saying. People are going to see that and be like, whoa, what's going on? Let me check on this guy. Kyle, what's your tweet?
I'm hoping my sister – so my brother-in-law's been texting me through the whole show because he doesn't have a Facebook. So I'm getting all of his comments. My sister keeps popping up on here. So I'm hoping they're still watching because if I texted or tweeted or Facebook, whatever, out hotty toddy and it just kills me to even say it, people would know there's something wrong there.
Yep. I'm the same way. I would say if I ever texted or tweeted or Facebooked out, it would either be a combo of one of the two things. It would either be L1C4 for the Dirty Dirty Birds when it's really L's down, or it would be Go Big Orange, Go Vols, some of that, whatever that garbage that those people in Knoxville prescribe to. I think it would, if somebody saw me say Go Big Orange, they would be like, whoa, what's going on with that guy? Because the Dirty Dirty Vols are dirty, dirty. Kyle, I will tell you as we leave that one thing that is not dirty, dirty, and that is monkey knife fight, Kyle.
No, it is not.
It is our favorite.
Fight over a knife, right?
It sounds like that's what they would be doing on this, but it's actually a daily fantasy sports gaming website for the casual sports fans, Kyle. It's simple, it's fun, it's easy to play. You know where I'm going next. Users determine which superstars are competing in the day's professional sporting events, and they'll record more or less than the contest line provided. MKF's daily fantasy prop games, Kyle, play similarly to the salary cap-based DFS games, Kyle, but
no math.
There is no math. No algorithms are involved. There's no lineups, and most importantly, Kyle, there's no sharks, including the baby sharks. There are several contests to choose from, none of which, Kyle, require hours of research because nobody likes doing that, even when you're pursuing a PhD. Start with a simple 2 for 2 or go for the highest payouts 100 times and higher by selecting an 8 for 8 or more or less contest, Kyle. And you can get started right this second and get 100% instant match bonus up to $50 with a promo code off the ball.
Hey, can we get somebody that can actually read to do these live reads? Because you're butchering this tonight.
Dude, I am reading the exact verbiage of that read.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
I'm reading the exact words. I just don't know that the script is the most accurate representation.
So are you saying that the script actually had typed out Shrevell?
It did, yes.
Oh, interesting.
It sure did. Well, Kyle, we've come up on the end of another wonderful episode of Dad's Watching Sports. Next week, we got a good show. If weather permitting and heater permitting, you and I will be in Cadiz, Kentucky on Lake Barkley with a couple of our friends for a guys' weekend. So we'll talk a little bit about that if we are there. And we'll supposedly have on Cole Kubelik from the SEC Network as well. We'll talk to him about top 25, eating some food on the network, his Peloton. He always tweets out where he ranks on like the Peloton workouts. So we'll talk to him about all that as well. So it's been a good one, sir. And I hope that you have a lovely rest of your Valentine's Day and a great weekend and a great week. And stay safe, Kyle, during the snow apocalypse.
I'll try.
Man, a few words. I like it. We'll see you next week on Dad's Watching Sports. Y'all take care.